Okay, my name is Keith A. Hartzler. I put that on there just because it's one more degree of who I am. And then my book is called Whispers on the Swing. And I'm here because people that are interested in getting my book out there and making it visible said this is a good place to be. Never been outside of the United States other than Canada a couple times. So this is a really bold adventure for me. I've met other authors here and it's great. There's been a great camaraderie. We kind of feel like it's a round table, and we've just been exchanging and talking about, you know, what it is for each of us. And it's amazing. Some have written several, some are the first-time authors, and we're all self-published. And so that puts us in okay, we're unknowns. And it'd just be great that the content of my book, it's not so much me, it's the content of my book I want to be exposed. Because I feel God's put me in this position to be something to help other people in some form. My book is not a documentary. It's not something you read through. It's kind of little snippets of things that came into my mind, and the focus is kind of like introducing people to God in ways that a child would have. And it's not an investigating, it's just kind of asking questions that are simple. I had this thought came in my mind, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I picked my phone up and I typed out what the thought that was. It was just a phrase. I have to think about that. And I went to set it down, and I had another thought, and I typed that down. Pretty soon I had like 40 or 50 of them. Well, it was 3 hours later, and I hadn't had sleep. I said, you know what? I need to get some sleep. And I set it down, and it kind of stopped. It got revisited again and again. And these phrases, these things, these thoughts were in my mind and it was like I was processing things that I never really paid much attention to before. And I said, you know, these things, I should think about these things. And it gave me pause. I didn't have an intentional thing of writing it for anybody. I guess I was just kind of journaling of sorts to myself, these things, and I felt like I just wanted to, I said, these things are kind of cool. I kind of like them. What do you think of it? And then I was aware that it could go outside of myself. And I said, you know what? I need to make this available at least to some of my friends so that they can, it made some smile. And it was interesting that when they looked at them, I had 5 different people that helped me with their opinions. What kind of reader would benefit the most from this? I think it's all inclusive. I don't think there's anybody that can't relate to God in some way or another. It's not about a particular faith-based necessarily. It will not insult anybody. I am a Christian, but it's such a way that everybody wants to get in touch with who they believe is God. And I believe that this is something that can draw them to those things. This book exists because God wanted to be here. Simple as that. Like I said, I had to walk through the door. He opened the door and I walked through. I had a choice. So I'd like this book to start conversations where people can interact without boundaries. That's sometimes hard for people to do. They don't know how to relate because people are stirring the pot and making things harder than they need to be. And I really appreciated with the authors, we have different genres or whatever, but we can talk with one another because we have a commonality that is greater than the whole of us. And that's the same with getting in touch with God or relating with God as a child. Who can do that? Well, if we stop taking ourselves too seriously, we can start to engage, we can start to receive ourselves, see ourselves as childlike in many ways, because there's a lot of things we don't know. And we need other people involved in our lives, and this helps to, I think, engage people to look outside of maybe boxes that they've either put themselves in or generalizing life in itself. But the thing is, I don't see myself that way. I see myself as just a small stream that is contributing to a greater stream. And hopefully that the person that takes that will be, maybe get a little wet in the process. And water is a source of life. So I would hope that as my book gets out there and people read it, it will create a life source in wherever it goes. That's my hope. That's my prayer for that. This is only the beginning of whatever God has intended. Like I said, I walk through a door, but on the other side of the room or place where I'm at, there's another door. And this is going to lead to something, many things, other things. I have no idea, but I don't want to hold God back, because then I'm going to lose the adventure I'm on. This is only a part. I can write more of these books. I have a lot of material for that, but I don't want to just be something that maybe this is all I want to write. Maybe this is all it's going to ever be, is this one book, but it's going to lead to something else. But I believe that God's anointing is on this book, and anybody that takes the time to read it, whether they buy it or they see it, or somebody else gives them the book in the future, it's going to be something that will cause them to process beyond maybe something that they would have prospered on. Again, it's seed. And what do they do with the seed? That you don't cast it off because you don't know. It's in the ground. I hope it takes root and creates something that creates a healthy harvest for whoever does do that. Don't ignore the calling that's on your life. Don't think less of yourself. Don't believe people that don't give you credit for being valuable. Allow yourself the grace to be an active part of our society. You matter. And I hope that this will be something that will cause people to be in a higher, not a higher plane of existence, but a higher level of experiencing with life, that they can maybe deal with some of the other things that are negative